In today's video, we're going to be selling gold, but what we'll actually be doing is looking at the difference between selling on your own on a place like eBay and selling it to a bullion dealer or local coin shop. And to do that, I'm going to call 9 different local coin shops all around the US to find out what they would pay me for 1-ounce gold American Eagles. Then we'll look on places like eBay and see what they are selling for there. Then we'll calculate the fees to see if it's true. Is it better to just sell it on your own on a place like eBay or to just take it to a local coin shop? So let's get into it, but really quick before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe and help us continue to grow. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers and I'd love for you to be one of them. My channel is sponsored by sdbullion.com. New customers can get their first order of gold or silver at spot by going to sdbullion.com/new. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do for this experiment to find out if it's going to be better to sell to a shop or a bullion dealer rather than to sell it myself on like eBay is to call coin shops and find out what they would pay me for gold. And so I called 9 different coin shops. I wanted to get a good sampling size so that we could see roughly what we could expect if we were to walk into a coin shop today with a 1-ounce gold eagle. So our first shop here, and keep in mind when you're looking at these numbers, I rounded them all to the nearest $5. So for example, the shop may have said $26.83 and I rounded it to $26.85. It just makes it an easier number to work with, and spot price moves a few dollars up and down all the time anyway, so it's not going to make a big difference. If I were rounding to the nearest 100, that'd make a big difference, but rounding to the nearest $5 on gold, not a big deal. So anyway, $26.85, that is a premium of $35 an ounce over spot. Our average spot price for these calls was around $26.50. That's actually pretty good. And I actually write all of these stores down when I'm calling them before I do these charts. And all of them, except for a couple, were actually really good. In fact, let's take a look, because our second shop here in Illinois was $30 an ounce over spot. They offered me around $26.80, again rounded. But they offered me around $26.80, which is around $30 an ounce over spot for 1-ounce gold eagles. That's really not bad. And actually, the first and second shop were actually quite a bit better than I was expecting. I was expecting somewhere in the $10 to $15 an ounce range, maybe some shops at spot. Our third shop was in that range I was expecting. We called Arizona. They wanted to offer me $10 an ounce over spot, $26.60, again rounded, for a 1-ounce gold American Eagle. And keep in mind, when I called them, I was calling for raw 1-ounce gold American Eagles, not slabs. And if you're wondering why that's relevant, you'll find out here in a little bit. So shop 3, Arizona, $26.60, $10 an ounce over spot. All right, shop number 4, Texas. Now this shop put us right at spot price. And actually, I just wrote $26.50, but he literally said spot. So whatever spot price is, that's what he's going to pay for a 1-ounce gold eagle in today's market. So the premium, well, I put spot, but there's no premium. I guess if the premium were spot, this would be a $5,300 offer, but you know what I meant at $26.50. All right, shop number 5, we called Washington State. Washington State offered us $2,600 and roughly $70, roughly $20 an ounce premium. Again, spot was average. It could have been $26.48, $26.52. You get the idea. Average for the calls was around $26.50, and they offered us $26.70. All right, shop number 6, we had the state of California. This was the only shop to offer us lower than spot. And they did not say $5 back a spot. They said 26 whatever. I wrote 26.45, but it was under the spot price what they offered me. So rounded is around $5 an ounce under spot. Maybe they were $2 an ounce under spot. All right, shop number 7, North Carolina, $2,660. That's $10 an ounce over spot. So again, we're over spot in North Carolina. And then our next shop, shop number 8, Georgia, $15 an ounce over spot, $26.65 for my 1-ounce gold eagle. And then finally, we called Florida, which again was $10 an ounce over spot for 1-ounce American gold eagles. So I took all 9 of these shops, I took all of those premiums, added them up, divided them by 9, and got this. Our average across the 9 shops that we called was $2,664, or an average of spot plus 14. All right, so now that we know what we can expect if we go into a local coin shop, at least based on the 9 that I called in today's video, we need to find out what these are selling for on eBay. Now, this is where the relevancy comes in of what I said earlier about the fact that I was calling and asking about raw 1-ounce gold eagles instead of slabs. Because if we look on eBay sold listings, I had a lot of trouble finding a 1-ounce gold eagle that was selling, like actually sold, that was raw. And so there were a lot of 10th ouncers and quarter ouncers, but I imagine that people are a little bit more skittish about spending $2,800 on one gold coin that's not even certified on eBay because there's so many fakes out there. I'm not saying that's why, I'm just saying I could see that being why. But if we keep scrolling down, we do find this 86, but an 86W is going to have a higher premium. It's a proof. If we keep on scrolling down, we will eventually, this one right here is a 10th, yeah. We will eventually run into, and it is right here. So this is the one that we're going to use to compare. So we might actually be looking at a little bit higher of a sell price on this than a raw, but it's really not that far off. If you think about it, 28.38 is less than $200 an ounce over spot. And once we look at eBay fees, you'll realize that that's really not that bad. And the reason that's not bad is because when you go to eBay and then you realize the fees that they charge, you know, what they're selling that for really becomes almost spot price or worse. Take a look. So this is eBay's standard selling fees. And you can see we are looking at the 28.38 one that I just showed you by scrolling down. A standard eBay selling fee for bullion under $7,500 is 13.25%. Now there are other scenarios where that premium, or that fee gets lower. We'll show you those in a second, but let's do the math on 13.25%. So if we grab our calculator and we take the sell price, 28.38.83, and keep in mind, this had free shipping. So they shipped it for free, and not only are they paying eBay's fees, but they're also paying processing fees for the payment. But if we are going to ignore the payment fees, the processing fees, we are going to ignore the shipping and just look at what eBay charges. So if they're charging 13.25%, that means you are only left with 86.75% of the sale. So if we multiply this by 0.8675, you'll see that this is actually going to end up giving them, before payment fees, before shipping, only $24.62. Now, to be fair, they did not pay 13.25%, because if you look at the eBay store selling fees, they are significantly different. So if you have an eBay store, and by the way, the cheapest eBay store that you can have to qualify for these fees is $21.95 a month if you pay for a full year up front, or I believe it's like $26 or $27.95 a month if you pay it monthly. I'd have to double check, but let's just assume that you paid a year in advance, which is $22 a month. You have to kind of think about that fee as well, although that fee would be divided up by however many number of items that you've actually sold. But you can see for anything $1,500 or less, they charge 7.35%. If the sale total is $1,500 to $10,000, and that is calculated per item, they charge 5%. So the eBay fees are significantly lower if you have an eBay store at least basic and, or is it starter? The eBay stores that you have to pay for that are like 20, you can look and find it if you really want to look into eBay store selling fees. I don't have it memorized, but it's like the second tier one that's like $25 a month if you pay monthly. All right, so let's do the math. So we're going to grab our calculator again. We'll take 28.38.83, and we're going to multiply it by 0.95. That removes the 5% because we are now an eBay store. Now this thing sold for $2,696. If we subtract $26.50 spot, you can see that you end up with, before credit card or however you pay processing fees, or accept payment, I should say, before shipping cost, you end up with a premium of $46. And keep in mind, this sold October 6th. So this just sold yesterday. So when you take that and compare it to our average of Silver Eagles at plus 14, that's really not a major difference. And that's assuming that you are also going to pay the monthly fee for the eBay store. That's also assuming that you are going to give them free shipping, because if you don't give them free shipping, they're probably not going to pay as much for it. So essentially, you're going to pay for shipping either way, because they'll buy it for a little bit less if they have to pay shipping, or they'll just go somewhere that has free shipping. You get the idea. You're going to have to cover those credit card fees, like I said. And you have to deal with the struggle and the worry of somebody saying that they didn't get it, or that they got an empty package, or that the coin they got was fake. So keep in mind, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm not saying you should sell at the bullion dealers. And you don't have to use eBay. You can sell it on Facebook Marketplace groups, and you don't have to pay those fees. But you do still have the worry about someone saying it didn't arrive. You still do have the worry about someone saying it was fake. If you sell it online through like Facebook, or if you sell it through Craigslist, or if you sell it in a Discord forum, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm not telling you that you should go to shops, but there is an argument for the easiness of walking into a shop, getting the cash, and walking out, and that's it. You don't have to worry about shipping. You don't have to worry about the fraud. You just know that you have the cash, and it's over. And for a shop like the first one paying 35 or the second one paying 30, really not that bad. And keep in mind, those shops were for raw. They may have actually offered me $5 or $10 more for an MS-70. I can't imagine it would have been more, and some of those shops would have offered the same. But they may have offered $5 or $10 more for an MS-70 too. You never know. This was for an MS-70. A raw Gold Eagle probably sells even a little bit cheaper if I could have found a sold listing without, scrolling through pages and pages of eBay. So anyway, that's what I had for you today. And if you do have to sell your gold, if you ever do decide that you need to sell your gold or you want to, how would you go about it? Leave a comment down below and let me know. I would love to know your thoughts. Other than that, thank you again so much for watching. And like I said at the beginning of the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us get to 200,000 subscribers because we're almost there. I really appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.